So rather than do my little opening bit that I always do, I'm just going to show you video of what the inside of my theater looked like.
Garbage day!
Huh?
No!
Hi everybody, welcome back, and welcome to my review of Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Shazam, Fury of the Gods is once again directed by David F. Sandberg, stars Zachary Levi, Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, Rachel Zegler, and most of the cast from the first movie. In this second film, Billy Batson has to deal with continuing to be a superhero along with his family, and deal with the Daughters of Atlas, who are coming back to hatch an evil scheme of some kind, as I'm sure you guessed, and CGI action ensues. Now, I'm sure as some of you know by now, I'm a huge DC fan, and I've been kind of mixed or upset on some of the developments lately, you know, with James Gunn taking over, and this movie's in kind of a funny spot because it's left over from the previous regime at WB, and it was supposed to connect to their new universe that they were gonna do, but then that got canceled, and now it's like filling in for the old DCEU before the new reboot happens, and it's a mess. And so this movie's kind of, from the beginning, it's been hard to get excited for, because it's like, are these characters gonna stick around? What's the state of this? Is the movie any good? What's going on? I will say this movie is a disappointment from my perspective. It's not bad, but it's so painfully average that I almost wish it was just terrible, because then I'd have more to say. It's one of those movies that you see it and then the next day it'll be gone. You'll forget about it. That's not to say it's all bad. There is a couple things that I enjoyed, but for the most part, it's just hard to even get like passionate about this. It's so like soulless, and it just feels like such a studio movie, if that makes any sense. I want to say Zachary Levi did a great job, like a lot of people say, but I really have never been a huge fan of him in this role. I liked him better in the first film, for sure. Like, I do like that movie better. I think it balanced a lot of the darker elements and the humor better. But back to Zachary Levi, I think that he plays it way too comedic. People say, oh, well, Billy Batson's supposed to be funny because he's a kid and he's a superhero. And sure, he has moments like that, but it's not supposed to be like he acts like Deadpool half the time. Like, that's not who Shazam is. He's supposed to be lighthearted, but not like cracking jokes all the time. And it just comes off as cringe in this movie, especially. Like, he's saying like Khaleesi when there's like a dragon, and it's like you roll your eyes when you hear lines like that. Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of Zachary Levi in this role. I actually like Asher Angel better as Billy when he's in, just Billy form. I think he actually plays it a lot more seriously than Zach does, which is interesting. Jack Dylan Grazer gets a bigger role here, where he's kind of trying to do his own thing as Captain Marvel Jr. They make kind of a joke about his name there. I guess I can't call him Captain Marvel Jr. because he's called Shazam, because that's a whole other thing. But yeah, he gets a bigger role here, and it's fine. Like, I mean, that's the thing with this movie. There's so many like character arcs and just storylines you've seen a million times, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like they have to do something to differentiate their version of that, and it feels like very been there, done that superhero stuff, and so that's why it's so forgettable to me. The villains were all right. They're not bad. Like, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu do a nice job kind of being menacing, and Rachel Zegler is kind of not a full-on villain. She's kind of she doesn't know where she falls in the story, but it's definitely not as good as Dr. Savannah in the first movie. That he was my favorite part of the first movie. I thought the villain in the first movie was actually very well done, and so I wanted something like that again. But yeah, unfortunately, they're just kind of medium. I didn't feel one way or another about it. It does the sequel thing where, you know, they go bigger, there's more action, the scale's bigger, but I just found myself sitting there and like not really caring. You know, I there's all this CGI explosions happening and a dragon and like lots of cool reality manipulation and stuff like that, but it's just so like boring. Like I've seen this a million times, this sort of thing. I just couldn't get excited. The best part of this movie to me was Billy's character arc, and I can't really get into it without spoiling it. But once it gets towards kind of the end of the movie, that's when Zachary Levi actually kind of plays it a bit more serious, and so I was kind of liking his performance a lot more. And you know, Billy just goes through an arc of kind of basically not being so clingy to his family and kind of letting them do their own thing. And so that's kind of all I can tell you without spoilers, but that was probably the best aspect of the movie for me. The action is not very memorable. Like I said, the score is very generic. I mean, the score is one of those things I always look for in a movie to kind of hype me up, and it was just kind of standard. I didn't really feel anything. Yeah, just all in all, this movie was just so... It was just so copy and paste, like, superhero movie stuff for me. And I wanted more, like... It almost felt like they wanted to do, like, a Sam Raimi type tone, like they kind of did in the first movie, but, like, they didn't want to go all the way with it because they wanted to, like, make something that would appeal to like families, and I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna do a spoiler section, but yeah, it felt like the movie was sanitized and kind of served up on a platter for a mass audience. And I understand that you have to do that with these movies to make your money, but this movie's not gonna make money anyway because it's tracking horribly and it's supposedly gonna flop. So wah wah. Yeah, I have nothing to say anymore. That's it. Like, this movie is it's giving me nothing. With that being said, I'm going to do a spoilers section. Before I get into that, I'll give you my final rating, just so if you haven't seen the movie and you want to, you can just see the rating and not watch the spoiler section. I was bouncing between a 5 and a 6 with this movie, but there was a couple things that happened in the third act that made me like cringe so badly that I'm settling on a 5. It's a 5 out of 10. It's average. I don't think it's worth seeing in theaters. I think you should, if you're like a die-hard DC fan, just wait for streaming or Blu-ray and watch it that way if you have to. Okay, so this is the spoilers section, so don't watch this if you haven't seen the movie and you want to. I'm going to talk about it right now. So WB did a really stupid thing, in my opinion, with this movie's ad campaign. A week before the movie comes out, they release a TV spot that spoils their big cameo being Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She shows up near the end of this movie. And it's so, like... That just shows they don't have faith in this movie, because, like... To give away, like, the biggest cameo in the movie in a TV spot is so lame. Because, like, yeah, they just don't have faith in this movie. And also, it was weird, her cameo, like, basically, obviously, if this is spoilers, so you've probably seen the movie if you're watching this. You know, Billy supposedly dies at the end, and they say that the God staff, they can't use it to revive him unless another god gives energy again, and they say there's no gods left. And then you hear a voice off screen that says there's one left, and Wonder Woman comes in, her theme plays. It's supposed to be a big clap moment for everybody. And that was cool, like hearing her theme again. And I love Gal Gadot in this role, so I was excited, I guess, to see her. But it was just written so weird. It's basically the scene's playing, and it's like, and then Wonder Woman shows up, like out of nowhere. There's like no context. They say that Billy sent her a letter to like show up, but like it's just so like, it's so like lazy. They could have written that in a lot better. It just felt like a moment to have at the end to get fans to come see the movie. And then she just leaves. Like there's no she's in the movie for about 2 minutes. Like there's no screen time there. So that was annoying. And then also, for spoilers, let's get into the 2 end credit scenes that play after the movie. These are 2 of the worst end credit scenes I've seen in a long time. Probably the worst since like Morbius, with that terrible like vulture end credit scene. It's not that bad, but it's close. The first one has Harcourt and Economos from Peacemaker show up to recruit Shazam into the Justice Society, and there was like so many reasons why I hated this. One, James Gunn needs to stop fucking. Okay, I'm gonna get mad right now. He needs to stop fucking hiring his wife and his buddies to show up in every fucking project. Like, this is why I was worried about him becoming head of this, and I'm not sure if they added this after he became CEO of DC Studios or if it was just there before, because Peter Safran produced this and they're like buddies. But it's like James Gunn just hires his wife and all his friends to do shit, and like it's so nepotism based and so like it just feels so inorganic to the DC universe. Like, we can't even get a fucking Henry Cavill Superman appearance, and he's not even gonna play Superman anymore, but we get these 2 who, like, nobody gives a shit about these 2, Economos and Harcourt. Like, I'm sure there's a small minority who do. And like Steve Agee, like, he's actually a decent actor, but Jesus Christ, I think her name's what's Gunn's wife's name? Whatever, I can't even remember what her name is. His wife is such a bad actor. Like, I don't understand why he keeps hiring her to play this character. Well, I do understand, it's his wife, but like, she's not good. She's so like on the nose with every delivery she makes. She's so like trying to just be the tough girl all the time. It's so like one-dimensional, and like it is the same as when she showed up in Black Adam and she showed up in Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, obviously. I guarantee you she's gonna show up in The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman coming up. Get ready. Get ready for Harcourt. Yeah, that was terrible. I hate. Stop hiring your buddies, James Gunn. Get real actors. Okay, rant over on that part. I also hated the fact that they're trying to recruit Shazam into the Justice Society, and just like in Black Adam, I hated it there. Why is the Justice Society under Waller? Waller is not a good guy. She should not be in charge of the Justice Society. They are their own team. Like, this is all comic book nerd like complaining, but it pissed me off so much. So that's stupid. And then just on top of that, the whole scene is like really cringe. Like, all the lines that Shazam's saying, oh, why is there 2 teams that both have justice in their name and they're not affiliated? You should get a new name. And he just starts reading like stupid names off his iPhone, and then he like makes the dumbest joke ever, like, oh, you should be the Avengers Society. I like that for some reason. Yeah. So that was the first end credits scene. I didn't like it, as you can tell. The second end credits scene was also bad, because it's literally the same end credits scene from the first movie that they just repeat again as a joke, basically. It's Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind. just like the first movie where he comes in to like tease that they're gonna work together and, oh, the big team up is happening. Wait for the next movie. Oh wait, it's not in the next movie. Wait for the movie after that. Haha, isn't that hilarious? I don't know if David Sandberg wrote this. I don't think he did. I think it was a guy named Henry Gayden. Whoever wrote this script, you cannot write jokes. Stop trying to write jokes. Ugh. Terrible. And so the last thing I'm going to get into with spoilers, and this is like not really a spoiler, but it's like I'm just going to include it here. One of the worst product placements I have ever seen in a superhero movie, at least. Like, people complain about Man of Steel's product placement. Watch this shit. They literally put Skittles in the movie and they use them as a plot point to save the day. They have Skittles there so that they can feed them to like these unicorns that come in, that all of the other monsters that get unleashed are afraid of the unicorns, I guess. This sounds like the dumbest shit that when I say it out loud, and it is dumb. And so they give them a bag of Skittles and they're happy, and that's why they save everyone. And even one of the characters says, we need to get more Skittles, as like the stinger. Like, whoa, isn't that hilarious? Stop. It's time to stop. Okay, spoilers done. Yeah, as you can see, like, this movie really pissed me off at parts, but it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just average. I know I was like spending the last like 10 minutes shitting on it, but it's not a bad movie. It has its moments. You know, the best stuff in it is the character work with Billy and like the subtle dark elements here that were more present in the first movie, but like I said, it's a 5 out of 10. Only see it if you're a hardcore DC fan. That's the only people I can recommend this to. Thank you guys for watching again. Stay tuned for my review of John Wick 4 next week. It's going to be next Saturday because my schedule just doesn't allow for me to go on the Thursday next week, so it'll be a bit later than my usual reviews, but I'm going to try and get some videos out in between then. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.